Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. I make videos about Dungeons & Dragons lore full time and have a huge collection of hundreds of monster ecology and strategy videos on my channel. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing as I upload at least twice a week. Finally, I get back to some requested creatures, sorry for the delay. Today a monster of pure evil, hailing from Scottish mythology with roots in Nordic mythology as well. A hideous horror so vile that its name could not be spoken aloud without immediately following the utterance with a prayer. The Nuckelavee is nothing short of horrific in every sense of the word, appearing like a huge horse and rider, except they are somehow blended together as one. The humanoid torso, abnormally long arms and disproportionately large head, all seeming to emerge from the back, or the middle of the demon horse's back. This is a flayed and foul creature. It's almost like the body has been turned inside out, with raw, glistening, stinking flesh and bone exposed, with twisting veins pumping blood as thick, black and noxious as an oil slick. Its misty breath wilts any plant that is exposed to it, and it seems its only purpose is to destroy living things. This is a creature encounter I think would work really well if you threw it into the Ghosts of Saltmarsh campaign, as the Nuckelavee is a form of undead terror that comes from the sea and has several strong associations and limitations related to it. First, the creature emerges from and usually returns to the sea. It will not venture into any fresh water, will never cross a fresh stream, it won't even travel past the beach if it happens to be raining. Holy water is therefore super effective against it, and it can be warded off, even driven away, with a spellcaster summoning fresh water, dropping it over top of it. Second, it can't stand the smoke given off by burning seaweed, but this just keeps it away from the source of the smoke. It doesn't drive it back to the sea. It drives it wild with murderous anger, and it will skirt around the smoke to brutally kill helpless creatures such as livestock nearby, particularly cattle, but it will certainly kill off fisherfolk and villagers. Local fisherfolk along shores visited by these creatures have a wealth of remedies, charms, talismans made of seaweed, vials of pure seawater, horsehair soaked in brine, chants and special symbols they all assure will ward off the creature, but in truth, none of them work at all. Their descriptions of the monster will vary wildly, some saying it's like a centaur, others that it's a horse and a rider, others that it has fins instead of feet and one glowing eye. The reason the accounts are so inaccurate is because those who encounter one and lived were far enough away from it not to get a clear look at it. They come ashore only in darkness. Thankfully, they rarely attack boats, but they sometimes carry a wicked spear that they can thrust up suddenly from beneath the waves, skewering and hoisting a sailor over the side into their doom. Nobody really knows what these or where these things originated, if any more are appearing or being created, even if physically destroying them actually gets rid of them for good, or if they will rise again. It's this mystery that is part of the reason why they are so feared. In combat against them, they have an aura of decay, a stench that is often detected before the monster comes into view. This requires a DC 15 Constitution saving throw to avoid taking 2d8 poison damage and gaining the poison condition on a failed saving throw, but still taking half damage on a successful one. Anyone who gets within 10 feet of the Nuckelavee, once it has been seen, must make a saving throw against this horrid mist, but once someone makes a successful save against it, they are immune to its effect for 1 hour. Any plant or plant-based creature making this saving throw with a disadvantage and takes 5d8 poison damage on a failed saving throw, which is exactly like the Cloud Kill spell effect except targeting specifically at plants. This is a physical mist though, so strong winds will cause it to continually blow away, reducing the range to within 5 feet, and just one target that the Nuckelavee directly breathes onto as a bonus action during the round, with which it can take on any creature's turn, including its own. The beast is both undead and a fey creature. I've seen in the homebrew on D&D Beyond that it's almost entirely depicted as a demonic creature, but this isn't actually accurate, it just looks demonic. It is size category large, moves on both land and at sea at 40 feet per round. It is a two-headed creature, so has advantage on wisdom, perception checks, and on saving throws against being blinded or deafened. As an undead creature, it can't be frightened, stunned, and knocked unconscious. It has immunity to poison, resistance to necrotic damage, but vulnerability to radiant damage and suffers twice the normal damage from holy water, as I mentioned before. It has an armor class of 14, and 9d10 plus 60, or between 69 and 160 with an average of 145 hit points. And while immersed completely in seawater, it regenerates 5 hit points per round at the start of its turn. The smoke of burning kelp or seaweed has a similar effect to turn undead. The smoke is effective within 30 feet of the Nuckelavee, and it must make a DC 15 wisdom saving throw, which it has no bonus added to. Again, this is smoke, so the same sort of limitations apply in windy conditions. The creature has a passive perception of 16 and 60-foot dark vision. It doesn't appear to have any sense of smell, and its hearing is not very acute either, nor does it ever throw its spear if it has one, so strictly a melee combatant. It attacks 3 times on its turn, 1 hoof attack, 1 bite from the horse head, and 1 weapon or claw attack from its humanoid arms. The hoof attack can come from a rear kick, or it can rear up and kick with its front legs either way. All attacks are plus 8 to hit. The bite does 1d10 plus 4 piercing damage. The hoof does 2d10 plus 4 bludgeoning damage, and the claw from its humanoid hands, does 1d6 plus 4 slashing damage, or by whatever weapon it's carrying, which will either be a spear, a long sword, or sometimes a trident or polearm such as a glaive, and these will count as a magical weapon. If you want to convey how terrifying this creature is when you first encounter it, go ahead and give it a frightful presence. It certainly deserves it. With any creature within 120 feet that makes visual contact with this thing having to pass a DC 16 wisdom saving throw or becoming frightened for 1 full minute, making further saving throws to snap out of it at the end of their turns, and becoming immune to the effect for 24 hours if they do successfully save against this fear. If you're really in the mood to potentially kill some player characters, or definitely kill a lot of non-player characters, you could give the Nuckelavee a paralysing scream that blasts any living being within 30 feet, forcing a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or keeling over paralysed for 1 minute, and taking 2d8 plus 6 thunder damage. Half on a successful saving throw and avoid being paralysed. Plus, they get to save against the effect at the end of each of their turns and become immune to further paralysis, but not the thunder damage, for 1 hour afterwards. I would advise you to keep this ability requiring a recharge roll of 6 on a 6-sided die at the start of the round, just to keep it fair. Otherwise, you're really going to kill everybody. As far as I know, this creature typically operates alone and is allied to nobody, but it would be fun to have it serve as the reluctant but compelled riding mount of a powerful night hag. I leave this horrific terror in your capable hands. It's at least a CR 6 without the frightful presence and paralysing scream. Bump it up to a 7 or 8 if you have those. Give it those traits, and give it a boost to CR 9 or 10 if the players are fighting it in an environment that allows it to keep regenerating and moving around quickly underwater, because they're going to have one nasty fight. That's it, just a quick video on the Nuckelavee. Thanks for that request. It's a really horrific creature. Very hard to find artwork for it though. Please hit the like button if you made it this far. Subscribe it if you like what I do. Check out my Patreon for some exclusive content and all the full scripts for these videos, which is about the only place you'll find the stat block for this monster, just in the script. But there's also some good ones, for usually very high CR versions on D&D Beyond if you want to look in the homebrew section. Buy some merchandise, wear your geek with pride. Check out Patron Blades for a mighty smooth shave, and as always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon.